my film is about celebration of love. So it does not really portray the army in any which way negative, or it doesn't get into discourse of discrimination, nothing. We are the country which had Kama Sutra. We were a country which celebrated Shikhandi, who won the Mahabharata for the Pandavas, and he was a trans person. 56 countries in the world accept the LGBTQI in the army. We should become quickly the 57th country instead of being a part of those nations which does not accept. Women will fake, but for hundreds and hundreds of years, the fact that women have been sexually assaulted, that doesn't matter, because what matters, unfortunately, most of our laws.
This is Samina Sheikh here, and with me today I have Onir, who has been in the news of late because of his film, which of course we wanted to see, but I don't know whether it will be proceeding further. So let's talk to Onir and know more about it. Welcome him on ETimes.
Hi, Samina.
First of all, Onir, I would like to know the subject of the film. There are many people who didn't understand the conversation which has taken place, and of course, I know that it's based on a gay soldier and all. So, if you can elaborate further on that.
The film is a film called We Are, which I was planning as a sequel to my 2011 film I Am, primarily because I wanted to celebrate the Supreme Court verdict on 377 and tell 4 stories which celebrate queer love: one gay, one lesbian, one trans, and one bisexual. And when I was working on the stories, the first story that I wanted to work was the gay love story. And I came upon Major Suresh's interview on NDTV where he spoke about I came upon Major Suresh's interview where he spoke about how he was feeling very suffocated in the army, not being able to talk about his identity. And I thought that, after the Supreme Court verdict, it should have been a normal process that other institutes also adapt to the new law, and also make an inclusive policy where we as a society celebrate diversity. And I thought that, okay, this is an inspiring it's a story that should be told. And I decided to write a fictitious story about an army man who falls in love and is not able to uh, express his love because of his situation, because he knows that in the army it's illegal. And he finally quits the army to reach out to his love, because my film is about celebration of love. So it does not really portray the army in any which way negative, or it doesn't get into discourse of discrimination, nothing. It just shows that a man is in love and realizes that he can't continue to be where he is because that does not accept his identity, and he decides to uh, sacrifice his love for the job that he does, because he's not being able to be true and honest to himself.
But also, as you said, the storyline is, completely very good. This is something in 2022. I feel that, it's quite important for such subjects to reach out to people, that, people have feelings, they have feelings for the same gender. But do you somewhere feel that in India, certain things still people try to submiss certain things, certain love for someone, like if I'm in love with a girl, or if I'm in love as a boy to a boy, people don't actually appreciate as such. They look at that person in a very different way. What are your thoughts on that?
I
Even
feel
we
as
are,
a
we have progressed in a lot of things, but here somewhere, people don't accept or appreciate such feelings.
I feel that as a society, we've gone through different phases. We were, as a society, that once upon a time extremely open. We are the country which had Kama Sutra. We were a country which celebrated Shikhandi, who won the Mahabharata for the Pandavas, and he was a trans person. Similarly, if you look at our old scriptures or architecture, you see references of same-sex relationship. And as a society, I feel we were far more inclusive. I don't say the perfect society. We all have, thinks that we can always become better.
Hmm.
And then, I feel that what happened, be it 377 or what is with the army, I feel that these are colonial British laws that have stayed back for long, and it took so many years to get rid of 377. And we very often, we are busy changing names of, buildings, streets to get rid of colonial whatever hangover,
Hmm.
but we don't want to get rid of some really regressive laws which has also come.
Hmm.
Whereas in UK in year 2000, the army had formally accepted that LGBTQI people will be accepted in the army, in the UK army. In
Hmm.
2007, the defense minister apologized to the queer community in UK, saying that you were discriminated for too long, and
Hmm.
that should not have happened. And I feel in 2022, when the Supreme Court has already decriminalized, we should become a part of the progressive nations. 56 countries in the world accept the LGBTQI in the army. We should become quickly the 57th country, instead of being a part of those nations which does not accept. Because why should one's sexuality
Hmm.
decide whether you're fit enough to serve your country, to show how patriotic you are? What should be the factor is your skill, your intelligence, your valor, your patriotism, but not your sexuality. That does not, it is sad if that becomes the, that is what is discrimination, because it does not tell you that to become asexual to serve the army.
Hmm.
Being heterosexual is okay, but being homosexual is not okay. So it is a kind of giving a privilege to, in a country where we are all supposed to be equals.
Anand, do you also feel that maybe people have matured in terms of their thinking towards, such a situation? But when it comes to laws by the government, when it comes to laws by court, there somewhere there is a control in terms of, certain things, you
I
know.
feel, yeah, I feel people are much more accepting sometimes, because
Hmm.
you can see in the recent years there have been certain, very mainstream films which have come out, and people have accepted and watched them, and change does not happen overnight. But
Yeah.
it is more important for institutes. I mean, the fact that it took so many years for Article 377 to go is sad, because people were already ready, and now once we are there are very, very basic things that are still being fought by the institutes,
Hmm.
which are holding on to some old regressive laws, like, for example, civil rights of same sex couples. If they want to get married, they're not being allowed. Okay.
Hmm.
Similarly, the rights to adoption.
Yeah.
There are so many children who are orphans,
Hmm.
and why would they be denied the possible love and parenting by same sex couple? They're uh, as giving and as loving as any other human being. So what makes them lesser competent for, be it like a single mother? I feel that same sex couples should have the rights for adoption, for marriage, and to be able to serve in any institute of the country. We will only enrich. Today, if
Hmm.
you are in the army and you're a doctor or an engineer or a nurse, what does your sexuality matter? Or if you are even serving in the, borders.
True. Also, Anil, what you have to say about the Marriage Act, which has been passed recently, and a lot of conversations have taken place, around it, because there are topics like marital rape which takes place. There are a lot of women even now, even though they are married, in an arranged marriage or even love marriage, they also go through certain things where they are forced to have sex with their partners, and at the same time they cannot openly talk about it because there is a stigma that why should we talk about such topics, or why should we make it a big thing out there. There are very a lot of women who want to be vocal, but at the same time they cannot be. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel that the fact that in year 2022 we are even having a discussion, and the
Hmm.
court is even, thinking about the fact that marital rape is wrong or not is sad. Today nobody has any right over a woman's body than herself. If
Hmm.
she's When it's a no, it's a no. Marriage does not mean that the husband owns a woman's body. It's about mutual. It has to be mutual. Anything has to be with consent. And people are coming with ridiculous excuses. Some people will say that, oh, now women will fake. There's always this thing about women will fake. But for
Mm,
hundreds and hundreds of years, the fact that women have been sexually assaulted, that doesn't matter, because what matters, unfortunately, most of our laws, be it, if you look at, for the longest time, women were also not accepted in the army. It's
mm,
always addressing, laws are very often addressing the insecurities of the patriarchal male society.
mm,
It is always their insecurities for which, be it women, be it the queer community, suffers. For hundreds of years. I mean, it's then they'll say that, oh, it should be, rape law should be gender neutral. What about women? I mean, you have to be really, really stupid to be even talking about something like that, because it is such a rarity that a woman is, would be raping a man. you
mm,
know and it is really, really sad. And I feel that when it comes to anything that's forced, obviously the laws are there to address it.
mm,
But making it an excuse to not have marital laws against marital rape
mm.
just shows how, you know patriarchy driven our society is.
As we talk about how of course the patriarchal system is, but somewhere as we say that women go through a lot, there is a percentage of men who also go through a lot of trauma, but at the same time the moment they express, they are taken in a very different manner altogether. There are a lot of men out there who might be going through a lot of mental health issues, but they have to stay strong. What are your thoughts on that?
See, the whole notion of masculinity, patriarchy, does not only harm women, it also harms men, because they have to constantly, live up to the expectations of what is like being a man. So it is of very often trauma to also people of, who are from the queer community, because there's this whole concept of someone is like a woman, someone is strong, not strong enough. Like, I get trolled on Twitter because of this whole army saying that, oh, queer people are not mentally strong enough to be in the army. And I'm like, which century do you live in to even say something as ridiculous as that? But having said that, I think mental health is anyway a big problem in a society that looks at mental health, matlab, someone is crazy, you know, and looked down upon. And for men, it is very often seen that when you speak about that, it means you're weak, you're not man enough. So of course, patriarchies, victims of patriarchy is also men, but much more women and people from different, with different sexual preferences.
Do you also, as we speak about mental health, there have been actors like Deepika Padukone who's come out in open, talking about dealing with depression. But there have been people when they come out in open also about dealing with depression. People feel like they're just doing drama. Oh, they're just trying to get sympathy from people. Here even in India, even till date, mental health is something which is not taken seriously. Maybe for some time we end up listening to someone, but then after a point we are like, okay, theek hai, it's fine. We get so irritated with people who are dealing with depression. There are a lot of people who don't want to understand such people. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel because one is, it's a society with so much of stress anyway, that everyone's dealing with their stress. Very often they don't realize that it's so important to give a kind ear. Just hearing, listening to someone, just
Hmm.
is, it can mean so much more for the other person. We have lost our ability to listen, and a lot of this is also social media, because sometimes when I see people attacking on Twitter, I feel that very often they don't even read or try to understand what
Hmm.
is being told, but for them it's more important to just rant,
Hmm.
and that way we're becoming a society that does not, where empathy is not cherished. You're always looking at, but he did not do this, or always looking at what is not there instead of cherishing what's there. And
Hmm.
I feel that that is what happens also with a lot of people with mental health issues, that they do not get people who are willing to just listen to them. And also they are themselves afraid because we don't have enough, you know, awareness that it needs counseling, that people don't easily go for counseling.
Hmm. And even if they go, they have to keep such things very private, maybe.
Yeah,
They don't come out in open unless and until they are fit enough to talk
yeah,
about it. They might be going through a lot of traumas, so that is something which does happen. Apart from this, on it, I also want to know what are your thoughts on the surrogacy, verdict which has been there, and there's certain laws which have come, which has been modified when it comes to surrogacy. Because recently when Priyanka Chopra announced about surrogacy, she also got trolled for it. Maybe sometimes celebrities and many renowned faces, when they actually go through surrogacy, a lot of things have been said, that why do have to go something like this. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel that again, very often this is because people want to have a control over, especially women's bodies.
Hmm.
I feel that it is totally a woman's prerogative
Hmm.
between the two women, the surrogate mother and the mother, that if they want to do this,
Hmm.
and if it is, sometimes it's also necessary for health reasons. There are various reasons why one wants to do it through surrogacy, and no one has the right
Hmm.
to judge that person. I feel, we are always judging people. Why do you have to judge someone's happiness?
True.
As long as that person is being kind and fair to the person who is being the surrogate mother,
Hmm.
and as long as everything is done legally,
Hmm.
why should anybody have a problem that someone else is finding happiness in something which does not harm anybody?
Hmm.
It's not harming you or me how someone else has a child.
Hmm.
Why are we bothered about it?
Hmm. And as you said, like, of course, like, surrogacy is something which is a personal decision. But whenever a celebrity goes through this, they become talk of the town. They are someone who are ridiculed, that, oh, they just want to maintain their bodies. They just want to, have a good figure. And that's why they go through this. What do you have to say about that? Do you somewhere feel that that is putting too much of pressure on Indian celebrities somewhere?
I feel that one, honestly speaking, we also sometimes give too much importance to trolling. People who want to rant will rant, you
Hmm.
know, uh, and I feel that after a point, like at least I have learned that if I get 100 love messages, there'll be 10 hate messages. So why do I even have to think about the hate? Let me cherish the love. And
Hmm.
I think I generally think that there will be all at the when you start ignoring this hate,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. What is it? At the end of it, there are a few thousand people maybe screaming and shouting on Twitter. Who are they? Maybe they don't even exist. They're just, so why do we give it so much of importance? I feel our life, to live a beautiful life, is more important than reacting to negativity. So I personally don't give any value to these trolls.
Coming back to your film, will you prefer making it, continue making it, and letting it release on OTT platforms, or would you like
Uh,
to give it a second?
Samina, the thing is, this law applies for everything. It's about OTT platform also. So you cannot today release anything on OTT platform which depicts the army without the NOC. So it is a blanket. When you have a no, that means you cannot release it anywhere because it can't be also certified. Plus, no platform will show it. So I will appeal to the ministry once again,
Hmm.
hoping that. They see reason, because first of all, it's based on something real. So how can you not allow me to tell something which is
Hmm.
real, and have a dialogue with me?
Hmm.
You can have problems with some areas of the script, but to say that you can't tell the story is also not very healthy. And
Hmm.
it does not, I mean, our army is known to be progressive,
Hmm.
and I would like to believe that it will be an army which is open enough to change, to celebrate inclusion and diversity.
Hmm. Do you somewhere feel heartbroken because this is one film which you had spoken to me about even in in my last interview with you, and you said, like, you're quite excited for this project because it's a very different project and very close to your heart.
Yes, I'm absolutely heartbroken because I was already with casting everything, looking forward to start shooting in March.
Mm,
And for me, I don't do projects. I don't do like films that are come to me as acha on air. There's this subject. Why do I do films that I really feel strongly about, which through which I feel I grow as a person, and it as a dialogue with my my society, and not to be able to do that as a filmmaker, to be stopped, it's okay once you make the film that you have a dialogue, but to be stopped at this stage, which has never happened to me. So
mm,
for me, the irony is I've done My Brother Nikhil in 2005, I
mm,
Am in 2011, which won the national award, and
mm,
Shub in 2017. All these three films dealt with a lot of LGBTQI narrative when being queer was criminalized by law, because
mm,
it was decriminalized in 2018, and all these three films I did before that. And now in 2022, when it's decriminalized, I can't tell my story.
mm.
So that makes me feel sad, very, very sad. And also, I mean, I love and respect my army, and I want to continue doing that. And I want them to equally respect me and my identity, because I feel that when I show an army man as gay, I'm not demeaning them, I'm enriching them because we are beautiful.
Thank you so much, on it, for your time. And I'm just hoping that you succeed while fighting this battle. And I'm sure I'm looking forward to this one. And I'm really wanting to see this film. And I'm sure it will be loved by a lot of people because, right now we are accepting a lot of new subjects. So I'm sure that a lot of people will love this. Thank you so much, on it, for your time.